Monday, April 13th, we're caffeinated. We tried that low-carb monster. Now we're going to talk about the NHL standings. You all watch hockey. If you're watching this channel, you watch hockey because it's good for you, right? We had 6 games yesterday. 4 of those had some kind of playoff implications, so we'll get into that, see if we have any more eliminations from the board. I mean, we only got like 2 games left, guys, so we'll see what's going on with that. We'll talk about some of the games today. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the very first game of the day, this was the noon Arizona time game. Penguins Capitals, Ovi versus Crosby for the however many time. And Ovechkin got a 3-0 win at home. Capitals, they're right here, man. They're making a late season surge, just kind of like the Philadelphia Flyers did. They need wins, man. Well, lose and you're out type thing. Well, they got the win. Penguins have already clinched, so as of right now, the Capitals are still alive with a game to play. Canadiens and Islanders. Canadiens are very much alive in the Atlantic Division race. They still have I believe they have a shot to win the division title. Buffalo can win it today, I believe, with a regulation win, because they do have the regulation win tiebreaker over the other 2 division members in the division. So, yeah, anyway, we'll see. But the Canadiens are playing against the Islanders, and the Islanders have started losing at the most inopportune time of the year. And the bleeding did not stop because the Canadiens beat them 4-1 in Long Island. So, you lose and you're done. Islanders lost, and I'm pretty sure they're done. Another team needs to win now. They won all year. They turned it around. They changed the culture in their city. They need a playoff berth. I mean, this franchise needs it more than any franchise in the NHL, guys. They're the most underperforming franchise throughout their entire existence. I'm sorry to say that, because I think it's probably a good hockey town, like geographically it should be. That's the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they have been over here, then they went over here, back over. Now they're like flirting with this area, which is not where you want to be with a game or 2 left. And they hosted the Boston Bruins, who had lost 5 or 6 games in a row. And what happens? Boston wins 3-2. So, Columbus, you disappoint me, guys. You disappoint me. I'll get into the standings here in about 3 games, but I want to tell you right now that I expect the Islanders to be mathematically eliminated. Sucks. I was really going for that team. Columbus, mathematically eliminated. Both those teams losing ways at the worst time of the year bit them firmly in the ass. Another team maybe keeping hopes alive for these other teams, who knows? The Senators, who had clinched, played against the Devils in New Jersey and lost in overtime 4-3. So the Devils, they're out. They already fired a bunch of people in their front office. Nobody cares. This one stings, guys. If you're like an Anaheim Ducks fan, they've lost a ton of games in a row. They were leading this division. And they've let like all these other teams like creep up on them, and they've lost several games. I don't know if they're all in a row, but like their last 10's not pretty. They played against the worst team in hockey. They needed a win. They're trying to win their division, guys. They don't want to fall out of a wild card race. They don't want to fall out of the division race. They don't want to fall out of the wild card race. There's 2 spots, I believe, in the West up for grabs. 2 or 3 spots. We'll get to it in a minute, but the Ducks are one of the teams that haven't clinched. Losing to the worst team in hockey is not what you want to fucking do right now. But they did. Vancouver Canucks got to win. Get to play spoiler in their little Pacific Division bullshit. God, I hate that division. Anyway, moving on. I could harp on the Pacific Division for half the video, but I'm not going to do that. Here we go. Flames Mammoth. Absolutely no meaning to that game whatsoever. The Mammoth, I'm almost certain, have locked up the 7th seed. the first wild card spot. I don't think they're going to go down. I don't think they're going to move up. I don't think they have any chance to move at all. Hockey ain't bitch made like the NBA, so I'm sure they're not resting their starters, but they have nothing really to play for at this point of the season. And it kind of shows on the scoreboard because they lost 4-1 to the lowly Calgary Flames. So those were our 6 games. Caps 3-0 over Penguins. Canadiens 4-1 over the Islanders. Bruins 3-2 over the Blue Jackets. Devils 4-3 over the Senators in overtime. Canucks 4-3 over the Ducks in overtime. And Flames 4-1 over the Mammoth. So what does that mean for our standings board? What does that mean for the standings board? We've got a few teams that have only played 79 games still. That's kind of weird. Some teams have played 81 games. It's the first thing that jumps out at me. No teams in the East have played less than 80 games. Which makes me think that we're going to see a lot of Western Conference teams tonight. But let's just start off in the West. We'll start off with the division. There's been 0 activity on the board, at least as far as the top 3 of the Central Division since I started doing this. President's Trophy winning Colorado Avalanche, 115 points. Dallas, 108 points. Minnesota, 102 points. Then we go up to the Pacific Division, the lowly Pacific Division, where every team in the top 3 has played 80 games now. Vegas, 91 points. Edmonton, 90 points. Anaheim, 90 points. All 3 of these teams in the Central have clinched. The top 2 in the Pacific have clinched. So Anaheim had a game in hand on Edmonton and Vegas, and they were playing the worst team in hockey and still found a way to lose that game. They got a point. They did get a point. I'll give them that. But come on, guys. Come on. Like, not just the worst team in hockey, but the worst team by far. By like 20-something points. Come over here to the wild card. We'll just get into the wild card right away. Utah has 90 points. I don't think they're going anywhere. I mean, I think LA can usurp them mathematically, but Utah's not going to end up over here in the top 3. They're a Central Division team. They're not going to break this territory. And they're already clinched. So the worst that they can do is get usurped by LA, or if Anaheim happens to, whatever, quit losing. That's my theory anyway. Utah's clinched. LA has 87 points. Nashville has 86. Winnipeg and San Jose have each only played 79 games, meaning they have a game in hand on Nashville. LA's also only played 79, though. So they are 5 points out. 5 points out, meaning their only real hope in this is the LA Kings have 3 regulation losses to end their season, and one of those teams wins out. And Nashville will probably have something to say about that too, because they're only 1 point out. So it's looking extremely bleak for the Winnipeg Jets and the San Jose Sharks. St. Louis has 80 points. They're out, mathematically eliminated. Seattle, 79 points, done. Calgary, 75. Chicago, 70. And Vancouver, 56. So, playoff picture is looking about the same in the West as it always had. We have about 3 teams that are competitive for the final 2 spots. Basically, the spots that are left are 3rd place in the Pacific, just because the Kings and the Ducks are close. There are 3 points separating them, with LA having a game in hand. So LA is not totally written off with getting into the top 3 of the Pacific, especially if Anaheim continues to play the way that they have, and LA continues to play the way that they have. It's not unlikely that we see LA on this side of the board by the time the week's over. And then Nashville, who's effectively just a point out, but they also have played 1 extra game. So 1, 2, 3 points out of the wild card. In the East we go. We have Buffalo. Has played 80 games. They played a night. We're big fans, as you all know. I got some merch in the mail, so we're extremely excited about this time of the year. Buffalo has clinched. They have 106 points. Montreal also has 106 points. However, they have played 81 games. So Buffalo has a game in hand, and we're playing against kind of a lower tier team. Hopefully, we can take care of business this evening. And then Tampa is at 104 points. All three teams have clinched. In the Metropolitan Division, Carolina has won the division. They have 110 points. They may have the best record in the East. Not quite yet. Pittsburgh, 98 points. Philly, 94 points. Surged. Philly is like the Cinderella story. They are the opposite of what the Columbus Blue Jackets, Detroit Red Wings, and New York Islanders are. They won. They started off way down here by New Jersey, and they won when they needed to in the last 2 weeks, and ended up all the way over here. And they're not clinched yet, but we're hoping. I'm hoping for a Philadelphia Flyers success story. I really am. As long as it doesn't come at the expense of my Buffalo Sabres, I wish them all the best, because I kind of not a huge Philly sports fan. I don't like Philly sports fans at all, but I just like a good success story when I see one, and I kind of like what the Capitals are doing. I mean, the only way that they really get in is if they usurp the Flyers, but what can you do? That's why we like this time of the year, man. The best team is going to get in, or the team that's playing the best at the end of the year is going to get in. So yeah, we go to the wild card. Boston got a win, guys. We have a little bit of movement on the board. Boston and Ottawa have each played 81 games, so they only have one game left. But Boston back in front of Ottawa. Ottawa got the loss, I think. Boston won, so Boston back where they had been for many weeks as that top wild card team. Ottawa. Who the fuck are you? Anyway, next we have Columbus lost. Columbus lost and gets passed up by Washington. Of all teams. If you go back and watch the back catalog on these videos of a week and a half ago, I've only been doing this for a month. But if you go back and you see what I said 10, 14 days ago, Washington's all the way down here. Kind of probably right next to Philadelphia Flyers, by the way. They need to win now. They have to go on a streak if they want any hope. They played way more games than all these other teams, and they're 6 points back. They're 8 points back. They got to do something. They're doing it. And they're getting a lot of hope because Detroit's doing Detroit things, and I know some Red Wing fans, and I feel bad for them. I really do. They've won some cups in my lifetime anyway. So, but they've just missed the playoffs for so many years in such depressing ways that I do feel for them. I don't have Red Wing fatigue anymore. It's just tough to play 500 hockey or above 500 hockey and still miss out on the playoffs year after year after year, especially with the roster that they have. But the Red Wings doing Red Wing stuff, Columbus losing at the right time, New York losing at the right time. It's opened the door for the Capitals. And I'm not saying that they're going to make it. I'm just saying it's extremely likely that it's going to come down to either the Philadelphia Flyers or the Washington Capitals. Philly's got a point advantage on Washington. They've also played one less game than Washington. They've only played 80 games. Washington's played 81. So Philly's fate is in their own hands. Really all they need to do is win out. If they win out, there's no mathematical way for them to get taken over. But if they lose out, especially in regulation, don't get any points, things could get kind of interesting. Washington has 93 points. So we'll say from the top. I don't think I gave you the point totals. 98, 97, 93 for Washington. By the way, guys, these two spots are already locked up. The only spot that's available in the East, if I have not made this clear, is the third place spot in the Metropolitan Division. That is why the Red Wings are out. The Red Wings are all still, if they were in the Metro, they would, I think, still have a chance, but the Atlantic Division, the division that the Red Wings are in, already has 5 teams clinched. There's no way for 6 teams to clinch in one division. The top 3 automatically make it, and 2 wild cards make it. Well, all 3 and both wild cards are from that division, so there's no way for Detroit to make it. It's only the Metropolitan Division. So the teams that are alive are Washington, Columbus, and the Flyers. Everyone else is mathematically eliminated. So going down the line, 93 points, 92 points. Detroit eliminated, 91 points. As of today, or as of yesterday after the game, New York Islanders eliminated, 91 points. New Jersey, 87 points. Not a bad year. They won 42 games. There's only 82 games a season, so they played over 500, but they're way down here in the basement because the East is so much better than the West. Florida, 80 points. Toronto, 78 points. New York Rangers, 75 points. So, with that being said, we had one more team eliminated yesterday after the 6 games. That was the Islanders. After today, a bunch of them are going to drop because we've only got a few games left, guys. In fact, we'll look at sorry, had a stroke there. We'll look at the schedule for Monday, April 13th. Red Wings playing against the Lightning in Tampa Bay. Red Wings are eliminated. I don't know what kind of game they're going to have. There's not too much that they can spoil for the Lightning in Tampa Bay, other than I'm pretty sure if Tampa takes an L here, they will have absolutely no chance at winning the division. I'm not sure if they have a chance at winning the division now. I guess that's something that we could breed into, but interesting game there, 4 p.m. Rangers and Panthers. That's a barn burner for you. Down here on the bottom. Miss me with that shit. Hurricanes traveling to Philly. That's a tough time to play one of the best teams in hockey. But Philly's been kind of taking care of business. We'll see. Philadelphia Flyers. No, that is a must-win game. That's a game that I will watch. 4 p.m. Arizona time on ESPN+. Stars Maple Leafs. Nothing to see here. I mean, it's probably going to be a decent game. I mean, take the Stars in that one. Wild and Blues. Again, nothing to see here. The Wild are pretty much locked in where they're locked in. The Blues are eliminated. Sharks and Preds. That's a huge game. That's a big game. So, basically, the Sharks need a miracle. They need a miracle. They're 5 points out of the wild card. They're playing against a team ahead of them in the wild card standings. I don't need to draw you a picture. I mean, I've got the entire board right here behind me. You can see it for yourself. Sharks and the Jets cannot afford to not only lose, but they can't afford any of these teams ahead of them to win. This is a massive game for the Sharks. And also for the Nashville Predators. All that matters to Nashville right now is they get 2 points. I don't care how you do it. Win in a shootout. Win in overtime. Win in regulation. You got to get 2 points. Cannot afford to miss out on this opportunity. So that will be a big game. 5 p.m. Arizona time. ESPN+. We'll be tuning into this because we don't miss Sabres games in this house. But we got the Sabres playing against Chicago. The only thing at stake here is Buffalo needs to win their division. It would be great for the franchise to get a division title. So I think that's at stake. Avalanche and Oilers. Avs have nothing to play for. They have the best record in hockey, no matter what. Win, lose, or draw. No such thing as a draw. Anyway, win, lose, overtime loss, it don't matter what happens to the Avalanche. On the contrary, the Oilers, I think they could fall into the wild card if they fuck around too much and lose, but they've clinched a playoff spot. Aside from it being a potential playoff matchup, I don't really care. It doesn't have much to do with who's in and who's out, which is what I'm all about this time of the year. Kings take on Seattle in Seattle. Kings are holding on to that final wildcard spot. Seattle's mathematically eliminated, but they can play spoiler to one of their division foes. So, could be a good game there. And then Jets and the Golden Knights. Knights are already clinched. Knights are first in their division. We hate that, but it's a reality. And they're playing against the Jets. They're hosting the Jets. A team that has to win. Not only do they have to win, but the Kings and the Nashville Predators lose, we're looking at kind of an interesting race. If that happens, that's all I'm saying. If San Jose beats Nashville, the Jets beat the Golden Knights, and the Kings lose to Seattle, everything looks a lot different tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But yeah, those are your games for tomorrow. Or, I'm sorry, for this evening. And we'll have to get on here and do it again sometime because